Listen, I've given literally hundreds of speeches and presentations and all sorts of seminars throughout my career. And if there's anything I've learned about that, it's if you stand up, you'll be seen. And if you speak up, you'll be heard. And if you sit down, you'll be appreciated. So I'm going to make this fairly brief. Before I extol the virtues of Robert and Danielle, and there are many, on behalf of Denise and myself, I want to thank you for all being here. I think that there's no greater testimony of the type of people that Robert and Danielle are than to see the breadth and depth of people that have showed up here today. From the East Coast to the West Coast to Florida to China and every place in between, you're here. I mean, how many people of 128 people show up at a destination wedding? It's not just the distance, it spans time itself. And time is the greatest barometer of friendship. Really. I mean, you count the people that have been in your life, and it's how long they've been there. And even though, yeah, they're not 40, they're approaching their 30s, it spans that entire period. It spans their infancy. Robert's got guys that he played in cribs with here tonight. You can find out. Is that bad? Yeah, right there. Yeah. He's got guys from grade school. Dan Smith, 4th grade, right here. Okay. He's got guys from high school. Kevin DePorsic played ball with him. Okay. He's got guys from college here, a host of college people, and then he's got the people from Tahoe. Danielle's got people from China here. I mean, come on. So, really, I mean, that says it all in terms of the time that they've all both put into friendships here. And now to the bride and groom, okay? First to Danielle, one of the most beautiful brides I've ever seen. Denise and I, and the entire Gunderson Fairchild clan, absolutely, positively love Danielle. We love her warmth and her caring ways. We fiercely admire her independence, her confidence, her intelligence. And she's at the top of the food chain there. And we love her devotion to family. And after a couple more scotches, if you want to see me for a great story about her defending family, and it wasn't even her family. We're in Yellowstone Park. She's protecting my great aunt. Okay, she's got no dog in the game whatsoever. And you want to hear a story? Come see me. I'll tell you a story. Okay, and then speaking personally, I love her laughter. I don't care what she's laughing at. I don't care what she's laughing at. I just start laughing with her. It could be the worst joke in the world. I don't care. I just start laughing when I hear her laugh. And lastly, of course, we love her choice in a husband. I'm kind of fond of her. And this is going to be her husband and soulmate for life and beyond. So I think they both made very wise choices there. And now I'll tell you this. I can talk about Danielle, and I can talk about them. What I can't talk about and not get choked up is my son. So I'm signaling for the left-hander. And he's going to come in. His name is Gary Garvaya. I've known this guy since 7th grade. He's one of my fraternity brothers. Yeah, give me a hand. Because if I read the words that I wrote about Robert, I'm going to be a blubbering idiot. And I'm not going to do that. Because I want you to hear what I've got to say about Robert. You doing all right? So, without further ado, my wingman, who's going to take it to the 1-yard line, he's going to talk about Robert, and then I'm going into the end zone in the last 2 sentences.
Speaking for Mark in the first person. Robert was named after my father, Robert Edward Gunderson, the best man I ever knew. A great husband for over 53 years, a great provider, the best role model that a child, teenager, young adult could ever have. I wanted Robert to be like him, and he is. He is a kind and considerate son who's always thinking of his mother and me. He is great with kids, something that will come in real handy soon. His life view has always been about the others. He's been an amazing brother to Jeff. And if you catch Mark before 10 scotches, he'll regale you with stories of that. In short, Denise or I are so very proud of him and the man that he has become.
So wasn't I great reading that? So thank you, Gary. And as for the wedding couple, we have a saying in our family, we love you more than words can say. And we are thrilled with our new daughter.
All right, now a word from our best man.
Come over here, stand by my brother. Well, all those hundreds of speeches my dad was referencing, I've seen a lot of them, and there was one thing I never wanted to do, and that was follow one of them. And Rebecca came and gave me the great news about 15 minutes ago that I'd do just that for the first time. So here we go. The first thing I want to do is thank my parents, Mark and Denise, and Nancy and Harold Eklund for putting on a great wedding night to come. A tremendous beach party last night, and really helping arrange. The number keeps changing. First it was 114, then it was 180. I'm thinking it's 135. It feels like they did enough work for 200 people. So thank you for arranging everyone to come in, and thank you for coming, everybody. For those of you who don't know me and can't see the resemblance, I'm Rob's younger and more sunburned brother, Jeff. And Rob and I don't have your average brotherly relationship. Aside from the whole California-Chicago thing, we're as close as two people can be. And for those of you who know Rob, the story I'm going to tell won't surprise you at all. And for those of you who are just taking this week to get to know Rob, I hope this story expedites his introduction. When we were really young growing up in Michigan, I'm going to leave this open in case I need it. Sure. When we were really young growing up in Michigan, Rob being 2 to 3 years older than me, he would get invited by his friends on, play dates and outings, to concerts and sporting events, or just to hang out at people's friends' houses. And being a few years younger than Rob, I would often get caught up in an age gap, where sometimes I'd have a hard time, catching up with him and his buddies. And, when they would call Rob to invite him out, and Rob would say, "Thanks for the invite, I'd love to come. Can my brother come too?" And this is where it gets tough. They'd go, "You mean the brother that mumbles all his words and crawls around on one leg?" Big shout out to Mark and Denise for my accelerated childhood development. And he'd say, "Yeah, that brother, can he come along?" And sometimes they'd say, "Why don't you just come? You're our friend, why don't you just come?" And that would happen every so often, and Rob would say, "You know what, thanks for the invite, but I'm all set. If Jeff can't come, it's not really a place I want to be." should get Ryan Foker up here, not this This is an example of not really the great brother that I've had my whole life. It doesn't just talk about how great of a brother he's been for 26 years, but really it tells you what kind of person he is, what kind of friend he's always been, and most importantly, what kind of husband he's going to be. And Danielle, I know Rob loves you more than anything in the world, and speaking from experience, he'll always be by your side. And on a lighter note, I want to change gears a little bit and talk about Danielle. Which, by the way, Danielle, you look absolutely stunning tonight. When Rob and Danielle first started dating out in California, I have to admit I'd only met Danielle once, maybe twice when they first started dating, and I certainly didn't know that much about her, and quite frankly, neither did our parents. So I think about when you guys moved into your own place in Tahoe. I was talking to my mom on the phone one day, and she was just asking about Danielle and things about her and how you guys were doing, and she's like, I know you guys talk all the time, so fill me in on everything. And I said, honestly, they're doing great. There's one small thing. I think Rob might be in an abusive relationship. And she goes, wait, what do you mean? Denise starts panicking, and I said, Danielle won't allow internet or TV